Hey guys, it's Vex, and I'm here with a little bit of a different video. This is a nature comp, but it's gonna look a little different compared to some of my other videos. This is a much more complex, advanced comp. You have to make a lot more difficult decisions. So I'm gonna be assuming you know lots of the max level abilities and equipment and stats and stuff like that. Like just I'm gonna assume generally you know how the flow of the game works. If you don't, maybe get a little more educated before you watch this video because it's gonna be a little higher level and I'm gonna be assuming that you know how the game works. Um, so yeah, this is a nature comp that also has Thrall, Samuro, and Xyrella. Um, Nature, I think, is going to be pretty powerful. It has Brucon for scaling, it has Malfurion for healing, it has Anaconda for caster assassination. You have Samzai Thrall, obviously, which is like a premier aggro comp. Thrall also has nature abilities, so I'll be showing you a little bit. This comp has three different openers that I want to talk about. It has a very large amount of openers, but those three I think are like broadly going to be the best in most of your situations, depending on what you see the enemy running. So yeah, this is the general idea for the comp. You have options, and it's a lot of decision making. So first of all, we're going to talk about the scaling opener, which is Brucon, Malfurion, and Thrall. So this opener is really powerful because you have Brucon with a lightning bolt scaling over time. You're going to be gaining 3 nature damage a turn. You have Malfurion, who's going to be speeding up your nature abilities and also healing your entire party. And then you have Thrall, who acts as an assassin to fighters if you need it, so your Brucon stays alive. But if they don't have any fighters, you can use Lightning Storm, which is a nature ability to heal and just deal AoE damage and like weaken your enemies. You have Archdruid's Call and Malfurion to finish off that AoE if you ever need to. You deal a large AoE, and you also have a huge heal on Malfurion for like 24 across your whole team. So if you ever need to use that, you can. Also with Malfurion, you have the Roots, which deals 20 damage in Root to target. So that's good against certain comps. It gives you a lot of options against aggro and stuff like that. This comp doesn't die to Thrall, but Samuro is a little bit of an issue. Though, like, if they have a Samuro, your Brucon is probably gonna die, but you'll trade out because you have the Thrall. Unless they have a taunt, then Malfurion can kill their Samuro in a couple of turns. But generally, you're not going to be using this opener if you see they have too many like bad situations for this. This is like I would say the standard opener for this comp. You have the scaling with Brucon, you have the healing damage speed up with Malf, and then you have Thrall, obviously, who is Thrall. The bench looks like this. So you have Xyrella and Samuro and Anaconda. So what Samuro does is if Malfurion is alive, if Brucon is alive, you can bring him in and combo with the double strike. You also have the Whirling Blade, which can be used to finish off the weakened opponents from like AoE stuff. Um, like you have the Lightning Storm, you have the Archer's Call, you even have the Chain Lightning that you might use sometimes, depending on how long you survive. So he's really good at coming and cleaning up as a fighter. If they don't have taunt, you're gonna bring him out. If they do have taunt, you're gonna bring Anaconda out. And Anaconda is kind of this a similar thing to Samuro. So you have the Serpent's Bite that deals 40 damage to a caster. So if you need to finish off a caster, she's a good one to bring in if the enemy has a taunt. She also has the Viper, so you can start scaling and summoning that way. Um, but lastly, you have Xyrella, so you have the Blinding Luminance. You can bring Xyrella in if your Thrall is still alive and healthy, so you can use the Blinding Luminance so Thrall doesn't take retaliation damage. Atonement is actually pretty interesting in this comp because you have a lot of mercs that can heal. So you have Anaconda with Men Beast, you have Malfurion with his passive Light Fruit Staff, and then you have Archdruid's Call, which can AoE heal for 24. Um, and yeah, so you also have Xyrella, which can heal if you need to. So you might get a lot of value out of Atonement with this comp. But mainly you're going to be using Blinding Luminance for Samuro and Thrall if either of them are still alive. And if they're not, it's fine because you have the Atonement. Um, so yeah, that's the first opener. Um, it's pretty generally strong. The only thing I'd say to watch out for is if they have a lot of casters, you don't want to throw this out because obviously Malfurion and Thrall die to casters pretty easily. But otherwise, this is a pretty solid choice when you're choosing out of the three openers or more. But the three that I say in this video, um, it's going to be your standard opener. So the second opener is an aggro opener, which is Sam's Thrall. Um, Lots of people have looked at this comp. Lots of people have simmed this comp extensively. It works pretty well if they have a taunt, and if they don't have a taunt, it's essentially like an instant win. So you have this in your pocket a little bit. You don't have to ever bring it out if you don't want to, but if you feel confident about what an enemy's running and you feel confident that this aggro lineup will do well, it's always there and you can always use it. And then you have the bench of Brucon, Anaconda, and Mouth, so full nature bench. Usually you're going to bring out Brucon first because you want to start scaling with those lightning bolts. But you can also bring out Mouth if you want to heal up Sam and Thrall because they might be damaged. Um, Another thing with this opener that's interesting is if Thrall stays alive, you can use his nature abilities once Mouth or Brucon comes out, like, pretty well. If your Sam is still alive, so let's say your Xyrella dies first. You have your Thrall and your Sam will be placed on the left. So you can use War Chief's command to attack any unit for protector damage of like 12, I think it is. And then your Samuro is gonna attack it for like 23, assuming he has attacked once. So that's going to be a lot of coverage. So you can really assassinate specific units, and that goes through taunt as well. So you have a lot of options with this comp. You have the nature scaling that'll be a little slower, but you have a much more aggressive, explosive opener. Um, and you can finish it out with Anaconda and Mouth pretty easily because they can go through taunt. Same with Brucon. All three of these can go through taunt. So your main threat with this comp is going to be enemies that can taunt up or counters to BTX because they will exist inevitably. But this is always something you can bring out with this comp. So I think it's important to note that you probably won't use this as often as you would think because I think the standard opener is a lot more generally good, but it's still something to keep in mind. And the final opener is to counter casters. So we've already mentioned that with the first comp, it's really weak to casters, and even the aggro opener is pretty weak to casters because Thrall can get assassinated really fast, and you don't want Thrall to die first in that comp generally. So what this does is it makes you win against casters. So if you notice they have a lot of casters, you can use this comp. So Malfurion will enable Samuro to do his double strike. He will also speed up Anaconda and himself for the next turn. Samuro has no like inherent nature synergy, but if he gets healed and he's attacking the same targets as Malf, you're going to be scaling on him regardless. Um, the turns where Malfurion uses Archdruid's Call and Entangling Roots, you can always Mirror Image or Whirling Blade on Samuro, so it works out pretty well. Also, if you use Cenarian Surge, you can Serpent's Bite to enable Samuro, and like those two units alone could easily kill a caster by themselves. Um, you also have the Nightmare Viper that can start scaling, especially with Malfurion. So you put the Nightmare Viper down, you start healing and healing, and that thing will just stay alive, and it might do a lot of damage. Um, you also have the Men Beast, which can buff at 15 health a turn. If you're playing that slow, that's going to be pretty situational when that happens. But if you really need to play slow and scale, that's always a good option. The bench is Xyrella, Brucon, Thrall. So obviously the objective of the comp is to counter casters. So we have two casters in the bench and we have Thrall. So after you kill their casters, they're going to either bring out fighters or protectors. Thrall can kill the fighters, and the Brucon and Xyrella can kill the protectors. So whatever they bring out, you can kind of react and bring out what you want. The Xyrella again is really good in this opener because you have the Atonement with Men Beast. So if you're going to be spamming Men Beast on anything or just trying to scale on anything, Atonement will be very good late game. You have the Life Root Staff, which will be proccing from Malfurion from these two units. Um, and you have the Thrall, which can just kill fighters. That's really his only objective in this bench is once you kill their casters, they're gonna bring in either fighters or protectors. They bring in protectors, you're gonna bring out Brucon or Xyrella. They bring out fighters, you're gonna bring out Thrall. And That's a general idea. So if you notice they have three, maybe four casters, you're gonna want to choose this opener. It's a little bit more flexible um, than that, but I would generally still only bring it out against casters because the standard opener works better against most comps. Um, so yeah, that's my idea. Um, I hope this wasn't like too much. I tried to make it easier to understand, but I feel like to understand this kind of stuff, you need like a fundamental understanding of how the game works and how each of these units work. So, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Please, please, please join the Hearthstone Mercenaries Discord if you haven't. We are getting even closer to release, and everyone is making such great comps and great ideas, and it would be super awesome if you guys could look at all their ideas and you would have even more ideas for yourself if you did. So if you're one of those kind of people that likes to theory craft, do all that kind of stuff, head down the description. I'll have the link. Um, these portraits are awesome too. They're made by Campfire Stone. I linked his Instagram in the description too. And please don't forget that I'm going to be streaming daily on release. So if you're the kind of person that would be interested in watching a stream of this game, I'm going to be highly competitive. I'm going to play a lot of PvP. I'm going to play a lot of PvE. I'm going to play in a tournament day one. So if you're interested in watching that kind of stuff, I'm going to be doing that too. Um, Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys like this kind of video. Let me know what you think. Um, it's a little different than my other videos, so just let me know if you like it or not. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video or in the stream once the game goes live in a couple days. So thank you for watching. Bye.